we cater for all definitions of GRP in the database. We have industry, what we call industry GRP, which is just simply the sum of industry value added across the LGA. That's what most people think of as the economic activity variable. And then we add to that ownership of dwellings, which is really just simply the imputation of rental income for owner-occupiers in the region. So, it is interesting in its own right, but people don't necessarily relate that to real economic activity. But it's there. And then we add indirect taxes to get headline GRP. But for many councils, what we really suggest you look at is what we call resident GRP and local GRP and due to work local GRP. And what we mean by that is our estimate of the income claim, which includes ownership of dwellings, that the local residents get from economic activity. For the residents' case, no matter where they work, we include capital income, which is their interests and other things, and we throw in ownership of dwellings if you want it, it's there. And the other one is the due to work is simply how much income from economic activity is created from economic activity within a LGA that is distributed to all other regions, to the residents who work there or receive capital income. Now, for most, for a lot of LGAs, where they have big, companies that profits go out of the place and things like this, the best measure we think of how you're doing is your local resident or your local industry GRP, which captures how much is locally generated. So it does vary enormously, but it does measure how much real income is being injected back into the community as distinct from GRP, which captures all income generated, but a lot of it gets distributed out of the LGA, out of the state, out of Australia, and this sort of thing. But every possible combination of GRPs there, with or without ownership of dwellings. The one that I like, and I think that is simply hours worked per capita of working age population. That is it's unadulterated, it's pure. If you're low on that ratio, you've got high unemployment. If you're higher in that ratio, you've got underemployment compared to the averages of other regions. Governments can't interfere with it. It's just lovely. So that's the one that I use. All our data calculations are only dealt with on hours. In the sense that's the true what's happening, because the employment, because of casualisation, because of industry structures, people can have a high employment level, but really they're not. They're pretty low quality employment. So we work it all out in hours and do all our calculations based on hours of work, and then the employment is sort of in the residual of the system. But all our meaningful calculations are done using hours, not employment. It's such a volatile and misleading indicator across LGAs. I mean, to be employed, you only have to work 1 hour a week. The source for the hours worked is, we use all the labour force data, of course, from the census benchmarks. We use the trends in the regional A4 data sources, and we also do a cross-check against real income, which is a measure of hours worked, I suppose, from the tax statistics.